American DA Live. On today's episode, host Jack Patty, Ray the DA, and Assistant Commonwealth Attorney Dan Laren will discuss the Clyde Rader case. In November of 2009, detectives made an arrest at a local hotel on a man who had several search warrants out for him for shoplifting. In the follow-up investigation, it led to the identification of 2 other suspects and jewelry that had been stolen just recently. Stay tuned for more details on this case.
Good morning. It is 8 minutes after 9:08 as we welcome you into the 9 to 10 show for this Friday, the 3rd day of June 2011. And this is a Forensic Friday, of course, with Commonwealth Attorney Ray Larson. Ray, good morning.
Good morning. Laren is a prosecutor in our office, and he's the Dan sort of manages the property crimes for us. And he's brought us a case because I want to start emphasizing the fact that these nonviolent property offenders are not only being pushed out of prison on parole, but they're not being sent to prison in the first place. And I've asked Dan to come and talk about a case involving Clyde Rader, because he's one of our Dirty 30, we call them. And the Dirty 30 is also part of our Operation Rat Trap, where we try to deal with these property offenders. But, you know, the police can do all they do. We can do all we do. The courts are being encouraged to probate them by the wise guys in Frankfurt. And so that's where we are. But Dan, tell us about Clyde Rader.
Morning, Dan.
Morning, glad to be back.
Good to have you back.
Clyde Rader is 40 years of age, and he was on parole in November of 2009 when the police got a break in investigating a series of residential burglaries here in Lexington.
Now residential burglary is breaking into somebody's house like Jack Patty when they live in Catalpa. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it all started with a shoplifting arrest that was made out in the Hamburg area. The officers made that arrest, which led them to a vehicle, which led them to a hotel room that had some people in it and a very large quantity of stolen property. And the police took the items that they had recovered, conducted interviews on the people that were there, and discovered that the source of this stolen property was Clyde Rader. Once the case got to the Detective Bureau, Mr. Rader is very well known to them as well as our office because we've all dealt with him several times.
Let's stop a minute. You say Clyde was on parole.
That's correct.
What was he on parole for?
Burglary and persistent felony offender.
Well, what was his sentence?
I'm very familiar with this because I was the prosecutor in this case. In 1998, he was sentenced to 20 years for burglary and persistent felony offender. He did about half of that sentence, and he was released on parole in July of 2009.
Okay.
To learn more, tune in every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on News Talk 590.